running high. Under blazing signs, we won't fall. In the electric neon night, we stand tall.
Blue flag, blue flag.
Hello and welcome back to Blue Flag Bandits, the series that drives F1's worst car since 2010, so you don't have to, in the desperate hunt for points. And it's the penultimate round of the 2016 season, round number 20, the Brazilian Grand Prix from Interlagos. And we arrive after a 7th DNF of the season, and another one caused by just AI shenanigans, I guess. Running comfortably in the top 5. Say comfortably, running comfortably in the points, but fighting for 5th with Verstappen and Vettel. Yeah, there'd been some contact with Button and Raikkonen, and, well, basically anybody who was coming up to try and pass us during the race. But we were defending well from Vettel and Verstappen, and we had a little lull. They battled each other for a bit. We were kept away on our own, and when they did catch up, Vettel went for a move to the outside in the DRS zone. We didn't cross him to defend. We didn't weave. It wasn't quite a car's width, and, well, gave us a nudge into the barrier. No front wheels, and out for the 7th time this season. It's been a season of DNFs. Hopefully 2017 is going to be very, very different in that regard. If we can keep it on the road, we should be doing well, but that means we're losing our rivalry with Jenson Button, and it means we remain on 77 points, 11 off our record score, with just 2 rounds remaining. Didn't lose ground in the drivers' standings, at least. We remain 11th. Lewis Hamilton, already champion after the United States Grand Prix, 101 clear of his teammate. Max Verstappen is 24 behind in 3rd, but he's still ahead of Kimi Räikkönen and Ricciardo. Jumped ahead of Sebastian Vettel, who was the cause of our DNF. Valtteri Bottas is 7th, and is Massa, Perez, Hulkenberg. We're 11th. We can still catch Massa, I think, with 2 good results to end the season. We're ahead still of Jenson Button, Alonso, Kvyat, Magnussen. Sainz jumped ahead of Wehrlein, Gutierrez, Grosjean, Nasser, Palmer and Ericsson. Everybody has scored points this season. In the constructors, Mercedes, already champions. They're ahead of Red Bull by 170 points, who are 28 clear of Ferrari. So they might actually take 2nd. Williams are 4th. Then it's Force India, McLaren. We're on our own in 7th. We would need something to catch McLaren, but we're not going to get caught by Toro Rosso. And then it's Renault, Haas and Sauber. And the Brazilian Grand Prix, one that's been on the calendar every season so far, and will continue to be to every season that we do. Already says there are mixed conditions on track. That could work in our favour. It's a fun circuit, Interlagos. I really do like this place, and it's going to be one of those races, I think, if it's anything like the real 2016 Grand Prix, that was chaos, then we might have a good time here. It would be nice, like I say, to beat that 2015 score, because as much as I said last season, look, this is probably the best car we're going to drive, this Manor has been superb in 2016. Sure, there could be an element of, well, I didn't pick the ultimate AI level, stuck with legendary like I have done for the most of this series. It might be that it's got the Mercedes power unit. It might just be that this game is coded a little easier, but the AI are a little bit more aggressive. Who knows? We'll definitely see in 2017 when we move to Sauber, and then onwards into our Williams Haas kind of run. The double Williams run in 18 and 19 I'm not looking forward to as a big fan of the boys from Grove, but back to this one, we are 2 races away from Manor being extinct, essentially, and this, in real life, was the race that effectively killed them. We'll talk a little bit about that while we're practicing, though. I'll go out on track. We'll talk about the real world. 2016 Brazilian Grand Prix. Interlagos hosted the penultimate round of the season, and with just 19 points separating the pair of Mercedes, Rosberg near outscoring Hamilton, clinching the driver's title with a round to spare. The opening practice session was one of little incidents, save for Daniel Kvyat showing off quick reactions to keep his Toro Rosso pointing the right way as he picked up a puncture at Subida de Largo. Hamilton would be the driver on the front foot of the championship protagonists, leading the times ahead of Verstappen and Rosberg. Practice 2 brought about another iconic moment in the second McLaren career of Fernando Alonso. A year on from parking his stuttering McLaren Honda and pulling up a deck chair, the Spaniard found himself once again parking during the session, this time being offered the opportunity to operate a camera in the infield. At the top of the times once again was Hamilton, ahead of Rosberg and Bottas. The final practice session was one without any major incidents, the predicted downpours not really materialising. Rosberg would top the times ahead of Hamilton and Vettel, the championship leader showing he could compete with his teammate. Rides were gathering quickly as qualifying began, prompting all 22 drivers to hit the track immediately to avoid being caught out by rain. Traffic would prove problematic as the session drew to its close. Jenson Button would find himself struggling with the balance of his McLaren and would drop out alongside both Manners, both Saunders and Kevin Magnussen.
Conditions should remain dry. We will keep you informed of any changes to the weather.
It was a similar story in Q2, everyone getting out early just in case the track was hit by a storm. The Williams of Bottas would find himself being caught out by an evolving track. The Finn set his first lap and believed it to be enough to get through. He would, however, be undone by quicker laps from the Force India pair, Bottas being eliminated, along with Gutierrez, Massa, Kvyat, Sainz and Palmer. The championship leaders were pretty much guaranteed pole as long as they produced clean laps, and so it would prove. Hamilton and Rosberg duelling for the head of the field. Hamilton would produce a lap quick enough to lead after the first runs, but Rosberg hit back, setting purple sectors at the start of the second run. Hamilton would, however, have a perfect final sector, snatching pole from Rosberg, while Raikkonen, Verstappen, Vettel, Ricciardo, Grosjean, Hülkenberg, Perez and Alonso would complete the top 10. After the threat of rain passed on Saturday, it decided to arrive on Sunday in a way that only happens in Brazil. The deluge was such the race was initially delayed by 10 minutes before starting behind the safety car. When racing got going, 7 drivers had moved to intermediate tyres, but it was too early, as proven by Marcus Ericsson aquaplaning into the barriers and coming to a stop in the pit entrance. Despite the conditions worsening, cars were still heading to the pits, including Ricciardo, who entered the pits while they were closed, copping the penalty for his trouble. The race resumed, but it wouldn't be long before it was once again stopped, as Kimi Raikkonen found himself heading directly for the barriers as well, bouncing from one side of the track to the other, everyone else narrowly missing the Finn. The red flag was flown with time ticking down on the race clock, the implications of half points on the championship being at the forefront of many officials' minds. The race got going again behind the safety car, but the conditions were worse than before, so the red flag was once again brought in. The third start of the race saw all drivers instructed to return to the full wet tyres, a decision to attempt to get some racing action going. Hamilton would get away cleanly and leave Rosberg having to hold off Verstappen, but the Dutchman would find extra grip on the outside of turn 3, sweeping past the Mercedes and giving Hamilton an extra buffer, the Brit pulling away after Verstappen managed to get rid of the second. Verstappen would attempt to keep pace with Hamilton, but he'd find himself in a spin at turn 14. It looked for all the world that his race was about to end, but he managed to get the car through a full 360 spin and get going in the right direction again, even able to keep Rosberg behind him to turn 1. Red Bull were, however, about to shoot themselves in the foot, putting both cars onto intermediate tyres. While both Verstappen and Ricciardo would be lapping quicker than Hamilton, the rain returned to the track, causing Massa to emulate Ericsson at what was thought to be his final home Grand Prix. The pit lane was once again closed, but the Red Bulls were now running on a wet track with inters, so while Hamilton wouldn't be able to snag a cheap pit stop, Red Bull had to manage the conditions before admitting defeat and getting both their drivers onto full wet tyres, Ricciardo slipping to 12th and Verstappen to 16th with just 16 laps left. What followed was a wet weather masterclass from the driver in only his second full season in the sport. Verstappen was first gifted the spot by Alonso making a mistake at Junção. It would be the rest of the field, including his teammate, who was debating how to best to attack, that he would make light work of. Verstappen would pounce around the outside at Magulio, passing Ricciardo before dispatching Kvyat, Vettel, Ocon, Nasser, Sainz and Perez to get all the way back up to third. He'd then take nearly 3 seconds out of Rosberg, but he'd run out of time to take the second place he'd had early on. Hamilton would take the victory ahead of Rosberg, meaning the championship would go to the final round while Verstappen completed the podium. The points would be completed by Perez, Vettel, Sainz, Hülkenberg, Ricciardo, Nasser and Alonso. Nasser's 2 points would bring Sauber ahead of Manor in the standings, and with 1 race to go, effectively finish Manor in F1. Here it's Interlagos with just 2 rounds left. What can we do in qualifying? This is such a fun circuit to drive, but it's also surprisingly difficult to get a clean lap time here. We know that after the DNF in Mexico, we need to go aggressive to claim the points we want to beat our record. We're going to have to give it everything, so let's aim for an 8th place, give us the best chance to pick up points this time around.
Welcome to qualifying here in Interlagos as the cars are readying up for what's likely to be a very important session. When it comes to getting lap time out of this circuit, it's traditionally been about maximising top speed. Do you simply remove as much downforce as possible, hang on into the corners and max out down the straights?
Top speed is a key factor for this circuit. Even if you can achieve the same lap time as someone running less wing than you, chances are you'll find overtaking difficult if you have too much drag.
It won't be easy getting out of this qualifying session, but see what you can do.
Thank you very much. And Crofty, Jeff there for the first time in a while said, look, this might be a struggle. Feels alright in practice. Obviously, early in the session, hard tyres, not really going out to improve like everybody else. So the last. But car does feel pretty good, and I do like this place. It would be good to get a really good qualifying position. Because, those 11 points aren't going to earn themselves, and I'm desperate now to beat 2015's points goal, at least beat 2010's points goal. That would be pretty good. But we do need to get a good qualifying spot here, and it's going to be tight because it's such a short circuit. So let's get out there, see if we can at least get into Q2. Let's take a look then at our fastest lap in Q1. Heading up towards the Senna S. You get on the brakes and it's a really weird corner to get right most of the time. The camber, the little crest of the hill, but we get through there fairly cleanly and out through turn 3 onto the Retro Posta. Car feeling pretty good at this point. It's the first lap of the session for us as well, so we're obviously onto a bit of a winner as we get up to the end of the Retro Posta and through this long left-hander up towards the technical middle sector. This long right-hander. We bounce over the curbs a little bit, get off the throttle. We do run a little bit wide, not so much that it compromises us too badly as we get into the infield of the lap, rolling through the camber there to get the car turned, and we head back up the hill again and then hard on the brakes. Bit of debris on the track just in front of us as we went through there, so there's obviously been some issues further up. Got to make sure we don't catch those guys as we head through Junção. Just marginally behind Romain Grosjean according to the timing tower on the left, and then it's just foot to the floor all the way up along to the start-finish line. Car is really feeling good, really good pace. Keep as close to the barrier as you can for the shortest possible run.
Into P3.
That should see us through. Q1 over and done with, and as you can see, a bit of a mixed up order at the top. Sergio Perez is going to be taking a 5-place grid drop for something. There was debris on the track as we were going around the middle sector, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's had an accident with somebody. Hamilton down in 8th. Both Hasses are up there, Toro Rossos are up there. We make it through as well. We're 14th, just in behind Jenson Button, just ahead of Vettel, who's on the mediums. Pascal makes it through as well. Felipe Massa knocked out at what should in reality have been his final Brazilian Grand Prix, but he's got one more in him yet. Kvyat, Ericsson, Magnussen, Nasser and Jolyon Palmer, they're all knocked out. Nasser's going to start at the back because he also has a 5-place grid drop, so Perez and Nasser, maybe they've had a coming together. Let's have a look actually. Incidents Yeah, grid penalty collision with Raikkonen. Both of them collided with Raikkonen. So, yeah, something weird's gone on there. But we make it through to Q2. That's something. And, yeah, let's see if we can actually put in a better lap and maybe scrape into the top 10. The garage then for Q2 here in Brazil. A bit of a mixed up order in Q1. Some strange things happened. Perez, let's not forget, has got a 5-place grid drop and he's in front of us, or at least he's in this session. So we finish anywhere near him, we might gain a place out of it. It is tight. We're only 1.1 seconds off the pole and we're 14th. It is going to be that kind of session. We need to maximise every tenth we can. So we're going to head out, try and get that lap time in early, see if we can hold on to a good spot. This lap then in Q2, and very much like the first session, it's the first lap that we ran in this session. We get a little bit wrong into the center S. We really missed the apex on the entry and take an awful lot of curb through 2 and 3, but it doesn't seem to affect us too much in terms of pace. Get the DRS open onto the Retroposta up to the end of the straight here. Again, just marginally behind the cars that we're chasing in this session, so that's good for us as we head back up the hill into the middle sector of the lap. Not quite as compromised through the run, through that right-hander, keeping well away from the outside curb. Taking an awful lot of curb on the entry to the first part of this funny little technical middle sector. Doesn't seem to have affected us whatsoever, if I'm honest. We used the bit of camber that we've got on the inside there to rotate the car as we head down towards Zhangkao. Car again, just feeling really nice to drive. Purple middle sector as well, looking that right up. They're still just a few tenths down from the first sector. There's now foot to the floor once again, all the way up to the line. Clip the apex on the inside and then once again get all the way to the barrier, actually crossing the checkered lines there. But it's a good lap, should be enough to see us into the final session. Q2 is done and we just, and I mean just, squeeze into the top 10 shootout. We're there with Perez as well. As you can see, just a tenth behind him. His 5-place grid drop could really benefit us. Red Bull looking really competitive here. Daniel Ricciardo tops the session once again. The normal names in the top 10, with the exception of Valtteri Bottas, who's down in 11th. Pascal's 12th ahead of Alonso, Grosjean, Sainz and Gutierrez. Q3 for the second race in a row. Hopefully it won't end like the last race when we get to race day. But we've got one more qualifying session to go. Let's go see if we can at least get close enough to Perez to nick a spot off of him. The garage then for the final part of qualifying here in Brazil. Pace-wise, 10th is probably about as good as it gets. Perez has a 5-place grid drop, so we've got to just try and stay within 5 spots of him, which, doable, I guess. And at least we can pinch one off of him. Hopefully, though, we can pull something out of the bag at this session. Let's get out there, see what we can do. And to our best lap of the final session. Took us 2 laps to get the lap time on the board this time, but as we head into the center S, we get the apex really nice there, and actually do the same through 2, but we get very wide through 3, running all over the curbs and some of the runoff area. We're marginally up on our best time with that little mistake, but we're heading up the Retroposta and get on the brakes nice and early, get the car rotated, run a touch wide, but as we head up towards Ferrandura at the top of the hill here, we can see that it's going to be tight for time. Clip the apex on the inside of Ferrandura, lift off the throttle a little bit, actually manage to rotate the car through as we get into the middle sector of the lap, using all the camber we can here. But you can see the clock is marginal. We're hearing about rain, but that's not going to affect the session. Use all of the camber on that right-hander to get the car rotated, and now we can start putting some lap time on our side as we head towards Zhangkao. Heavy on the brakes, cut the apex on the inside really nice. Actually over-rotated the car a little bit, missed the apex on the outside. Doesn't matter though, because it is foot to the floor, all the way to the line, keep us close to the barrier for the shortest run. Not all over the pit entry this time, but we crossed the line, and it's a decent lap.
Okay, we don't think we're far away from some rain. I'll keep you updated as the conditions change.
The grid is all set then for the race tomorrow. But before we go, let's quickly remind ourselves of our top 3, who are Hamilton, Rosberg and Daniel Ricciardo. The grid is set then, so that just leaves the race itself. Join us tomorrow, where we'll be live with all the action. And until then, it's goodbye.
3 is over then. Hamilton takes pole ahead of Rosberg, then Ricardo, Vettel. Perez is 5th, but we're 9th. So we should inherit 8th spot as he gets demoted because of his penalty. Verstappen, Raikkonen, Hulkenberg just ahead of us, and we're ahead of Jenson Button. So at least it's not 10th. Decent result there. That would be, as long as it does demote Perez, which I think it should, and puts us up to 8th. That actually means it's 8th twice in a row. Mexico, we got 8th as well. Hopefully, we can have a better race of it than we did in Mexico. At least, the result-wise anyway. Because we did have a good race in Mexico up until Vettel nudged us into a wall. Hopefully that fate is not going to befall us here. We are a little slower than the guys ahead, and only a little in qualifying trim. Hopefully we can keep pace with them in the race. But that's all to come. Let's cross over to the Brazilian Grand Prix.
Where there's a will, well, there's a way. And nowhere has that fact been better demonstrated over the years than here at Interlagos. Remember Senna winning while fighting a gearbox that was jammed in 6th? 5 Drivers' Championship deciders in a row between 2005 and 2009. And of course, the passionate Brazilian fans packing the grandstands to capacity every year. And they're not about to stop now. It's an unusual anti-clockwise race here at Interlagos, where the Sao Paulo locals are packed into the grandstands at each of the 15 corners around this classic 2.7-mile circuit. 2 very fast sections bookend the famous and highly technical Sector 2, where getting a good run out of Junsao into one of the 2 DRS zones will be the key to any overtaking prospects today. With so much on the line here today, I can't help but shake the feeling that we're going to have a bit of pushing and shoving, Anthony Davidson, especially into turn 1 this afternoon.
Well, we do see a fair amount of that here at Interlagos, Crofty. It's a tricky braking zone, of course, as you're heading down the hill into the Centre S, which always makes it easy to lock the inside front and run a bit wide. We've seen a number of occasions over the years with someone from the leading group taking a bit of a knock on the first lap and having to recover. That's one of the reasons we've had so many exciting championship fights here. Hopefully, though, it'll be a clean start, of course, but as you say, I wouldn't be too surprised if it's not.
Right, let's be patient going into turn 1. We want to be in a good position for the rest of the race. Good luck.
With that then, let's run through the grid order. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Nico Rosberg completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Ricardo, Vettel, Max Verstappen, and Raikkonen, Hulkenberg, and Amana, Button, and Sergio Perez, Bottas, Wehrlein, Fernando Alonso, and Grosjean, Sainz, Gutierrez, Felipe Massa, and Daniel Kvyat, Ericsson, and Magnussen. Jolyon Palmer and Felipe Nasser starts from the back of the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Thank you very much there, and Crofty in its 8th place for the 2nd race in a row, thanks to Perez's penalty. And, Brazil, a circuit I keep saying I enjoy, hasn't been the happiest of hunting grounds in this series so far, but then again, not many places have. Car feels good. We've had a really good season in terms of fighting in amongst the points. Actually, should have probably had points at pretty much every round this year. Even when we were on the back foot in places like Mexico last time out, we were still in the points. This is going to be quite the rapid race. It's a short circuit, technical middle sector, but a lot of high-speed stuff. And yeah, I think we're really just gunning for those points now for the final 2 rounds of this season. See if we can get past that 88 that we scored last season. I don't really know how this is going to play out, if I'm honest. We were a little bit off the pace of the guys ahead of us in qualifying, but I don't know whether that's just scruffy laps or a lack of overall pace. I think going into the final round we want to have a good enough chance to beat 88 points. So we're going to need to push for a couple of spots higher than where we're starting. So I'm going to say P6 is our target here. Try and get half the points we need. I think 5th is 10 points. So yeah, 8 points would probably do us favours. and then we wouldn't have quite as much pressure going into the final round. But it is going to be tricky into turn 1, and I feel like we are going to be probably having to defend quite a lot. So we might find ourselves, hopefully not in the wall, but we might find ourselves having some incidents once again. But let's see though if we can finish this race. It would be nice to finish this race and finish Abu Dhabi as well and close off 2016, not picking up another couple of DNFs, because 7 in a season is pretty high, and we've got many more seasons of this series to go. I don't know whether this season's going to be beaten for DNFs, and it might be that this season is in a position to not be beaten for points either. Who knows? But that's all for the future. Right now, it's time to get the 5 red lights on and out again for the 2016 Brazilian Grand Prix. And the lights then 3, 4 and 5. Longish hold, but away we go in Brazil, and the Ferrari's got a terrible start. Had a really good one. 4th. Oh, the 2 Mercedes fighting each other here. To the back of Hamilton a little bit. We're in the slipstream. Can we go for the lead? Yes, we can. At the inside of Hamilton, and we're into the lead of the Brazilian Grand Prix by the end of the Reta Aposta. What a start that was. Absolutely everything we needed to avoided contact, or major contact anyway. For the pair of Mercedes to run out the road, and we've gone past them. We're going to hit the line at the end of the first lap, leading this Grand Prix, unless Hamilton comes back at us straight away. We'll try, but we are going to lead over the line. Early stop coming. There's Hamilton again, mate. Not much. We're keeping behind. The Mercedes has got us.
The pit window has opened.
No. A little bit of contact. He just ran out the road. No spin, but it does lose time. As we continue to lead. DRS once again. A little bit late on the brakes, there's a little bit of contact.
No chance of rain now. If the situation changes, we'll let you know.
Get back past the Mercedes. Not giving up this lead without a fight here. So Rosberg's going to follow us in here, and that he does. We'll watch behind and see. Oh, he does in the pit stop there, and he's going to head in as well.
Pascal is in the
In
pits.
front of him, it doesn't affect him too badly. Bottas moves to the lead. We will
Go now.
get out ahead of Rosberg. Where's Hamilton in
To
all
speed
this?
now. Let's get some heat into those tyres.
This has a problem. I think it's holding up a little bit of a train. As goes past, we will get out in front of Hamilton as well. Who I think is stuck behind Julian Palmer. Doesn't work for us. Net lead, I think, still. So that's with a problem, so we need to make these moves quick. Past Gutierrez. there not to go into the back of Sainz. We go dive at the inside, we're through the Toro Rosso again. Ahead of both of the Mercedes that are stuck in that queue. Drive away, they've got a chance here. He has made it through that little traffic jam. I think Rosberg not far behind DTLS here either. Even though they're closing on Alonso. Faster than McLaren, especially with DRS. Grosjean next up the road. That's currently leads.
Safety car deployed. The safety car has
Safety
been
car is
deployed.
out.
Watch your delta. Make sure you keep it positive as we catch the pack. We
It's a
think there's a
yellow
viable
flag.
strategy change available to us. Would you like to keep to the current plan or try the new one? Got that confirmed. We're considering switching to an
current plan.
alternate strategy. Do you want to change or stick to plan A? Confirmed.
Another two, no, another extra stop. Expanding at the centre S. It took them so long to get going, it's produced a safety car right behind Grosjean. Bottas yet to pit. Bottas though does head in now. There's Grosjean. Back in the lead of this one.
Safety car is in this lap. Safety car in this lap. You'll be controlling the pace on the restart. Keep it steady until the safety car has reached the pit lane.
Safety car is coming in.
Okay, we're ready for you. Box this lap.
We have bought an extra lap or two, I think. So the safety car. There we go now.
Green flag. Green flag. We're racing again.
So he does manage to come with me.
Okay, some information on signs. It seems they fixed whatever the problem was. They're coming back up to speed. Your pit window is about to close.
DRS Alonso still late, he got right up behind us. So this is right day, I think he played himself into a really good position. This race, thanks to the safety car. Palmer right there at fourth, he's yet to pit. Even behind both Red Bulls, I think. Rosberg even further back in the order.
Don't forget, pit in this lap.
I think I've got another couple of laps in these tyres now. Alonso has gone in, Verstappen now in third. Time. Well, I think we box this out.
Right, come in at the end of this lap.
Mediums. Strategy can still come back to us then. Just checking to see where Bottas is. We're going to fall fairly far down the field.
Strategy change available to us. Would you like to keep to the current plan or try the new one? Copy.
Very white, trying to sort out the strategy. We're going medium as well. So that's when we move into the lead, we're going to fall way down the order. Don't need to panic. So I think the strategy will come back to us. Buttons coming in as well.
Go, go, go.
In fact, everybody 14th and back is coming in.
Okay, you only have to stop once now. One stop left.
just in front of Falkenberg and Alonso. Wide, staying ahead of the Force India. Let's attempt quickly to try and catch up to the pack. Car in the pits here, not sure who it is just yet, we'll find out shortly. Daniel Ricciardo, again, vital to get in front of the Golden Gate. Is in.
Pascal is in the pits.
Pascal. Coming in dribs and drabs at the moment.
The gap to the car ahead is 1.7 seconds.
Exit, move into 7th now. That's as far as I know as well. Gutierrez is next, and there's a bit of a gap. And these hard tyre runners are going to commence. Bottas is in.
Our gap behind is 3.9 seconds.
Gutierrez heads in. Bottas
Okay,
is
gap
in.
ahead is 9.9 seconds.
In front of the fin. Works out for us. To 9 litres. Bit of a margin as well. Grosjean's in. Somebody else is in as well.
The track conditions aren't improving. It's your choice as to whether you want to fit the wets next time you come in.
We'll be moving to intermediate tyres. Interesting. Doesn't look like it's raining heavy much for it yet. Back into 3rd. Rosberg's turn to come in, so we will temporarily take the lead in this race. Now it's foxed by the Mercs. All over the place through the
Tyre
first couple of
situation
turns.
is an interesting one, but I think the right call is to stick with what we've got right now. Your pit window is now open.
Inside of Hamilton, keeping behind us. He's getting greasy. Not into the fight. Stop this lap. We're not going to do that way. We're going to extend for at least one more.
Our gap to our teammate is 19.9 seconds.
Hamilton gives us a push. Oh, there was contact. He was to our inside. No, he didn't go round like that. Right there too. Staying to the inside of Hamilton. Ricardo sneaks through as well.
We think there's a viable strategy change available to us. Would you like to keep to the current plan or try the new one? Understood, copy that.
Keeping us on the mediums. It's not wet enough for him as yet. So in we come. Ricardo and Hamilton go by. Bottas will as well. 4 to 6 in. Perez should go by.
Complete, go now. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit
So
stops.
turn 1. Hopefully we'll get ahead of the Brazilian now. Go through Grosjean and Gutierrez as well. Not going to fly at the top 10 really, no. 9th spot. Oh, Gutierrez.
We're seeing minor damage to the front wing. Be easy on the car till we get it repaired. We don't want to risk making this worse.
Safety car is out.
Safety car. No overtaking. Reduce your pace. Keep your delta number positive as we form up. We're considering switching to an alternate strategy. Do you want to change or stick to plan A? Okay, copy that.
Down to 15th by Gutierrez and Grohl having a moment.
Okay, I think it might be just about time to come and change these tyres.
We're going to go overeaters now, are we? Couple of cars going in. To 12th at least. Those on here too. Cars on the pits as well. Kavina a little bit, he's round. We're up to 9th. No idea what's happening there. Pretty
Let's catch up
treacherous.
to the field a bit. We're dropping too far back. Remember that we need to stay within 10 car lengths of the next car. We think there's a viable strategy change available to us. Would you like to keep to the current plan or try the new one? Got that confirmed. We're considering switching to an alternate strategy. Do you want to change or stick to plan A?
Apparently we're looking at intermediate tyres for the final few laps of this race. Everybody else is going in as well.
Right, pick up the pace a touch, please. We need to close to within 10 car lengths of the car ahead.
Everybody coming in.
Pascal has come into the pits. Pascal in the pits now.
That way, which is going to cost us. Changing our wing as well. At least there's a safety car.
Go, exit now. We're racing on the exit. Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
They won't come in next lap, I guess, but we'll see what happens with the safety car, whether we all form up and then have another lap.
Okay, let's get ready to go racing again. The safety car is in this lap. When the field accelerates, remember, there is no overtaking until the green flags. Safety car in this lap.
We are coming in this lap. Not everybody's up together yet. To get a move on. Well, we might have just been cost big points.
Okay, the stewards have now disabled DRS. DRS is now disabled.
As I had Leo's built in as well. And Palmer also in. It's all about whether we've got enough pace to catch up with the field and get back in the points. The final lap there, the Brazilian Grand Prix that I think we could have won, if I'm honest. Safety cars have played their part. We had a move to Gutierrez.
This is your final lap of the race.
Right up behind Kevin Magnussen, but still not quite in the points. He led large portions of this race. The strategy might not have quite come back to us in the end, but I think we still could have had a decent podium result. We'll send it on K-Man here. Moving to 11th. I think Gutierrez is just too far away. Second safety car was because of us and Gutierrez coming together. It's veering wildly back onto the circuit after having used up the Grohl. We collected him and then got stuck and a little traffic jam ensued.
Our gap to the car in front is
Lewis Hamilton takes the win.
0.5 seconds.
I don't think we're going to have enough to catch and pass Gutierrez right at the end. Race with no points, P11.
Good job, you did really well. Super driving.
And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. It's a good result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Now then, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
I'm going to say Carlos Sainz. It was probably one of his best drives this season, and I was thoroughly impressed.
It may already be wrapped up, but let's look at the constructors' standings. Mercedes have extended their lead at the top of the standings. There'll be plenty more twists and turns to come this season. I hope you can join us at the next race to see just who will come out on top.
Well, that is the end of another race where we don't come away with points. Lewis Hamilton takes the win ahead of Bottas, Perez, Ricciardo, Sainz. Pascal gets 6th. So at least some points on the board for us. Vettel is 7th ahead of Hulkenberg, Massa and Gutierrez. We finish 11th, just ahead of Magnussen, Grosjean, Rosberg gaining 14th with Verstappen. Then it's Alonso, Kvyat, Felipe Nasr, Jenson Button, Marcus Ericsson, Palmer and Kimi Raikkonen doesn't finish. Standing wise, not a huge amount of changes. Lewis Hamilton's obviously already champion and still top. Rosberg second, Verstappen third. Ricciardo moves ahead of Raikkonen. Bottas moves ahead of Vettel. Perez moves ahead of Massa. Hulkenberg remains 10th, just ahead of us. We remain 11th, just ahead of Jenson Button. Fernando Alonso's 13th and Kvyat. Sainz moves ahead of Magnussen. Pascal remains 17th, but he's only just a point behind the Dane. He's ahead of Gutierrez, Grosjean, Nasr, Palmer, Ericsson. And in the constructors, no changes. Mercedes champions already, top the table, ahead of Red Bull, Ferrari, Williams, Force India, McLaren. We break the 100-point barrier thanks to Wehrlein in 7th. And it's Toro Rosso, Renault, Haas and Sauber. One round left this season in Abu Dhabi. And if we want to beat the 88 points we claimed in 2015, then we have to score big. Frustrating, because I think we could have got a podium there, even with the way that strategy was starting to play against us near the end. Just that little collision with Gutierrez, that cost us there, I think. Because I think we had pace enough to be able to get ahead of the guys that we finished behind in the end. All in, but one more shot in 2016 to break that points barrier. We probably could have broken it twice over, the way this season has gone, but well, at least we got to the end of this one. Not the greatest result for us right at the end there, but hopefully you enjoyed it. Like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the good stuff. We shall see you for the final round of 2016 next time. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now.